Hello, Leapers. It's me, Chris, and I am here with Matt Dale. And this time out, we are interviewing two of the guest stars from the Quantum Leap episode Family Style. Please welcome to the mic with us, Laura Niemi and Anisha Jagannathan. Laura, Anisha, welcome to the Quantum Leap podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So, this is the second of our family style interviews, and we're doing them family style. So thank you for agreeing to appear together. It's very apropos for the episode.
I love this because Anisha and I probably will be talking more than we did even when we were on set.
Yeah.
Because our characters were separated.
Yeah, absolutely.
We noticed that. We booked this in before we'd seen the episode, just based on the cast photos. So it was a bit of a risk. And then, we did notice Laura.
I love it. I love it.
So great to introduce you to each other.
And here we go, making connections. That's what we do here in this podcast universe and Quantum Leap fandom. So if you guys want to just start, we usually like to start with some general background about, how you got started in the biz and what brought you to the role that you got on Quantum Leap. So why don't we start with you, Laura?
Oh, okay. Well, I've been an actor for a very long time. I'm a native Angelino. I kind of grew up in the biz. My mom was a producer, and I honestly didn't think I was going to be ending up in the business. I was kind of a rebellious teenager, so I was in rock and roll for a while, and then I got very involved in theater, and eventually realized that I'm here in LA, that TV is what pays the bills, and just got heavily into television and film. So I've been doing it for a long time, and just and this character and this show was like a real coup for me because I just come off a series and I'd been on NBC. So, it was like a perfect fit for me, but this is a character that I normally don't play. You saw the episode, obviously so this was very exciting for me because I'm, normally a little bit more likable in at least recently. That's what's been happening. So, and as the viewers will see, this is Kathy is not so nice. Not so nice.
No.
So, and I was very excited because my family's a huge Quantum Leap fans. And so I got this part right before Thanksgiving. So during Thanksgiving, we as a family started binge watching a lot of the older episodes, the Marilyn Monroe one from the original series, which I had never seen. And then, some of this new series, which is just so cool. And so I was really excited.
Well, that's terrific. We'd love to hear that Laura, you're a fan of the original series.
Yes.
That speaks to the Leapers and all of us. How about you, Anisha? Were you familiar with Quantum Leap before you booked the role, and how did you come to the series?
I wasn't familiar actually with Quantum Leap before the role. I knew that this series was a reboot, but I hadn't watched the original series. My parents loved it, so they were kind of telling me, "Oh my God, you're doing the new Quantum Leap," and I was like, "Yeah." And same thing as Laura. When I got the role, we all binged the new series, and it's just so exciting and so fun, and I was so looking forward to being a part of and I feel like this episode is different from other episodes in that it's it has action and stuff, but I feel like not like the other episodes in terms of, I don't know, I was told this was more like the original series, this episode of kind of small, intimate family members and their issues. And I think that, I felt really blessed to be a part of this one because it just had a lot of heart. So, yeah.
This definitely comes across as the smallest of the episodes so far, and I mean that in a complimentary way. It was obviously what was intended and came through. I guess a lot of that comes from the relationship between the characters and the relationship between the actors. Could you maybe both talk a bit about that atmosphere relating with the other actors on set?
Oh yeah, it was it was honestly one of the best experiences I've had on set. Everyone was so, and this sounds so cliche and like cheesy, but everyone was very supportive and very welcoming and very nice. Usually I kind of, I'm like, okay, I'll just stay in my lane and do my thing and try not to cause a fire on set, but I think, um, but everyone was, yeah, extremely welcoming and just made it feel comfortable immediately. And so it felt easy to get to those maybe more emotional places because there was just like a shorthand. Also, I just had never been with that many South Asians on set, and that was really refreshing, and it was really fun. And the writer was like from a town next to where I grew up from, in the Bay. So it just felt like a completely different experience than I had ever experienced. It felt very like familial and like, yeah, I enjoyed every single aspect of it. I never dreaded anything. It was great. Yeah.
And Laura, you had a little bit more of a heavy role in this. Tell us, because you're the part. Well, you're not part of the family.
That's right. And but my experience was great. I mean, look, in my career, for many, many years, I had very few female directors that I worked with. So for me, it's always exciting when I see a female behind the camera. And, I believe it was the DP and we had a lot of female energy behind the scenes, which is lovely, for me. And Deborah is such a talented, and she's the showrunner as well. She's just so talented. So that's always fun when you've got somebody, because when I was on This Is Us, Ken Olin, who was the showrunner as well, would direct episodes. And you always felt like, oh, okay, I'm in really good hands here because they really know the show. They know what they want. Do you know what I mean? So that's always nice. And the writer, I agree with Anisha. It's great to have, South Asian representing this kind of story. So, especially on prime time. So, but in terms of, the set dynamic, I mean, these two leads could not have been more gracious and humble and just so fun to work with. They're just so fun. I mean, there's something to be said about when, I know Raymond's been doing it a long time, but the girl who plays Caitlin, yeah, she was talking about when she first got this gig and how exciting that was. And so for me as a veteran in this business, hearing somebody when they're just breaking into something it's always so fun. It's exciting. There's, they're excited to be there. Everybody's really, there's an energy, you know what I mean? And on a little side note, I have to say on the coattails of safety on set and whatnot, we had a scene that we shot that had a gun in it. And the way that the way that was handled, I have to say, was very, it just made me feel very safe. And they really stopped and really, it was a thing that there was a gun on set, and we stopped and everybody had to look at the gun, and it felt really safe. And I just, I don't know. I just felt like that was something worth noting, because during these times, it's like, especially in the middle of a pandemic, when everybody's rushing, we got to get tested, we got to get this, we got to get that. TV moves so fast that right now that is something that is to be, focused on, obviously. So I loved how they handled that.
Yeah, I had brought that issue up with Marquise Vilson, who played Henry in the episode Salvation or Bust. And he had, there were guns on that set too. And I had brought up that topic with him because it's become such a sensitive issue
Right.
due to recent events. And he had mentioned the same thing. So it's nice to hear that all of those protocols are in place, because I got to tell you, Quantum Leap wouldn't be Quantum Leap without a gun-toting villain, and you join a long line of let's just say very broad villainy in Quantum Leap. They're usually pretty over the top. I was just like, this is great. This is so Quantum Leap, because I mean, how many landlords have gun-toting thugs? I just thought it was amazing.
Little twirling of the mustache.
Yeah.
You know, my character's name is Kathy in this, but it wasn't that to begin with. It was Jerry, then it was Terry, and then it became Kathy. And I was like, wait, what's going on? I kind of love the Jerry and Terry. So I guess I was a Kathy and not a Karen. I don't know what I don't know what happened. It was a fun little anecdote from this character.
So, Anisha, how was it working with Nandini? You guys had some great scenes together, and the family dynamic that Matt had spoken about before, and that everybody seems to have embraced in this episode, it seemed so effortless between the two of you. It felt like I was watching an actual family. Can you talk a little bit about the process of coming together with the other actors to pull that off?
Yeah. Well, she was incredible. And I feel like from the get-go, very open, very welcoming, and just immediately has this, like, I feel like emotional shortcut with people. You meet people that are like just very easy to like meld with very quickly, and she has that like empathy and understanding, and you know, she has been in this business longer than I have, and we would talk about kind of her struggles with representation and my struggles with representation, and I think that bonded us pretty quickly as well, because it was just similar experiences, similar difficulties, similar joys, and yeah, she really did feel like family. And you know, I don't know if this is with all South Asians, but it's pretty easy to, like, when you meet another, you're like probably related in some way, so you're like I don't know, it feels different than meeting anyone else. I'm sure you guys know, if you meet someone from your hometown, it's like, oh my, there's an immediate kind of shortcut. It's kind of the same with meeting her. And we would talk about scenes, like even on set before, and we would talk through them and the emotions of it. And she was very open to, like, you know, you don't get much rehearsal with filming, so she was very open to like talking through things and talking about our relationship. And yeah, she was just so supportive and right there, you know, and during the parts that I was kind of scared of. And so was Raymond. He was immediately part of the family. It just felt like he fit in so great into that like Indian sister role. It's hard to describe, but he was just like perfect taking that on. So it felt like intuitive to have that shortcut with both of them, or to have that tie. But I think it says a lot towards their character about how quickly they can open themselves up to people they just met, and let them in and collaborate. It was just like, it was fantastic to be around. It was, yeah, very welcoming.
Chris and I both talked about the fact that this is a tearjerker. This is an episode that made us cry. And for me, the moment that starts is when Nandini turns to you and gives you the opportunity to take over as the head chef. From that point till the end of the episode, the waterworks are on. And I just really wanted to understand more about that precise. You just give each other a look, and it's so wonderful. And I wonder, was that particularly early on in the filming, or had you had a chance to build up that relationship before you did that sequence? Because that's outstanding.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that was actually towards the end of filming, and we had been able to talk and get to know each other. And yeah, that scene was very special. I think For like I can speak on what I was going through in that scene was, I get pretty homesick here, and there's not a lot of community that I've built here in terms of like not a lot of South Asians that I know in LA, and I think seeing just the physical like family come together in that moment was so emotional and so I don't know, it felt very like you could feel like the acceptance like radiating off of them. And in that moment, in terms of her like passing the baton on to her, I feel like, that's a lot of kids' dreams, is that their parents kind of trust them with their futures and their choices. And I think especially in our community, there is like, there's a stereotype that is true most of the time of parents wanting the kids to go a certain direction, whether it's in terms of like safety, be safe in your career, or like we want you to be secure, and I think that moment of like the mom fully trusting my character, the daughter, is something that you don't really, it's a very small moment, but it's so rare. I feel like it's hard to see that kind of dynamic on TV. And yeah, it really, I've had my like problems with family members not really like approving of the things that I do. And sometimes you live out like your dreams through your roles and like the things you wish, the conversations you wish you could have. So it was like very moving for me. And Nandini was I don't know I don't know what she felt, but it was very like, she was like, she felt like offset, like she kept saying like, it's like you're my daughter. I think that's what she kept saying. I could be wrong. And I imagined that's what she was saying. Maybe I'm making that up. I don't know. Don't take me at my word. But I was like, yeah, and you feel like my mom, but, young mom, older sister vibes. So
That's cool. That family feeling that came through in this episode, Matt and I both commented that this episode feels very much like the original Quantum Leap. And Laura, as a fan of the old show and just being a veteran in the industry, were you familiar with Deborah, or at least Deborah's work, before you got to work with her? Like, what was it like to meet the Deborah Pratt?
No, I hadn't. So it was really, that part was really, really cool. But, I've seen Scott on stage and I've seen him in different things. I mean, I'm just a big fan of Scott Bakula. I think he's a fantastic actor. So, that was, just to go back and think about some of these these older episodes were kind of great. And I just love that what Raymond's doing with this character. I love that they're just not trying to duplicate it. They're doing their own thing, which really is hard when you're doing something that's so beloved. Do you know what I mean? So, but they're keeping with the spirit of it. Like you said, like this one is a nod to kind of some of the older episodes. And I love that I got to be a part of this episode because it really is a beautiful one. We don't get to see these episodes until everybody else gets to see them. So it sucks. It's like, I can't wait to see, you read it on the page, you see your other actors, and then, and then on the day you watch like everybody else does, just to watch it play out. So, I know these casting directors, I've known them for years and they're always fantastic. And as I looked around, the set, which by the way, was in the back lot of, at Universal, right? We shot at Universal, right, Anisha?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
what was really cool about it was one of the days was the epic scene of the fire and whatnot. And it was just the back lot. It was just one of those Hollywood moment days as an actor for me, where you had the Universal tour buses in the background touring the this huge street that we're filming on, and everybody's waving, all the actors and the DP and everybody's waving. They're so excited to see behind the scenes on Quantum Leap. It was just one of those wonderful days, just to be in the biz. Wasn't it? Remember that?
Oh my, no, it was incredible. I remember
it was an epic day.
This is what I used to think like Hollywood was, right. Just a bunch of explosion scenes with tour buses kind of going. So it was fun. So fun.
Yeah.
I wanted to actually ask you about that scene a bit because it's one of the most dynamic in the episode, and the finished effects are really, pretty spectacular. You have a huge explosion. So I wanted to know what was it like filming that? Were there a lot of actual pyrotechnics, or is all that done in post? Like how do they pull something like that off?
It was I couldn't even imagine how they would. I thought it would all be in post, but there was a lot that was actually there to react off of. The first thing is me, Raymond, and I think Nandini were all wearing these like chef clogs. So we were trying to run around the car to the scene. It was
pretty funny. I will say that, watching them in those clogs.
And trying to run like a normal person in an emergency with those clogs, and seeing how he executed it was probably the best part of that day for me. But no, they had fire kind of inside the restaurant. Like, I guess they had like a fire bar inside the restaurant that had like actual fire. They had fire, I think, outside of the restaurant. I believe it was real fire, I believe. And then they would shoot like glass shards, which was rubber, and then when we reset, they clean it all up, and then we do it again. And it was like a lot of visual there for us to react off of, so it was super easy because it was almost very close to just being the real explosion. So it was, I mean, like Laura said, it's one of those like moments that you're like, I can't believe I'm in a scene like this. I never thought I'd get to do like a little action scene, So yeah, it was very, and again, with the safety, they were very, very, very professional, and I felt so safe, and I felt like I could run into the fire and be completely fine. So it was like they were very, they were very safe about that. So it all felt like a really just fun day. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I got to think that being on the back lot, we've noticed a lot of backlot shooting in this season. Once you see it, you can't really unsee it,
right.
And that's another thing that's right from the DNA of the original Quantum Leap. They were on that Universal backlot quite a bit, and Matt wrote a whole encyclopedia about Quantum Leap. I think he can name every single building and what other show it was in. And was this some of the same? Yes. Some of the same.
It's been lovely seeing. That restaurant has popped up it comes up every other week at the moment in the current series.
Oh, good.
I love it.
They redressed a lot.
Yeah. So I think that was also the pawn shop in the Bounty Hunter episode too. I'm not sure. And I think it showed up in the background last week. So you guys are part of a long tradition, let me tell you.
Yeah, it was in the first episode as well.
I love that you guys know all these little ins and outs of it. It's so cool.
We're just the nerds. This is just our hobby.
We spend a lot of time watching it.
So, yeah. That being said, any tales from the set that you guys want to share that we haven't touched on, or?
There was. I just remember it was freezing like it is now, and we were wearing like Indian clothing is typically for pretty high levels of heat. It's cotton, it lets in a lot of atmosphere. And so the main thing I remember is jumping up and down for like before the scenes, like try to generate some heat with the cast members and kind of trying to cuddle each other in the between every moment, try to get the heat going. So that was one thing that I remember that was really memorable, that like brought us together. We were acting like it was a tundra, but it was really just what 60 degrees, and it was like it was like we were on like the set of Alone or like somewhere in the Arctic. So that was fun.
Yeah, there was definitely cuddling. We had our little heater. Everybody was huddled around this little heater in, behind the scenes, and everybody was just like in between takes huddled behind it. Everybody, your listeners are like, come on, it's LA. We're not feeling sorry for them, please.
No, I think that's the worst part is we're all used to this sunny, like warm womb weather. And so to just get even a little chill was, I mean, I felt unbearable. I think everyone was acting like we were all drama queens, but it was validated. It was cold. It was validated.
This was filming over December, was it?
Right. Yeah.
Thereabouts. Yeah. Okay, so I think by my British standards, that's still pretty cold.
Really? Even by British standards? Okay, then I feel okay. Okay.
Well, so, I mean, we've been discussing Quantum Leap a lot. Laura, I know that you've done a million things, a little show that no one's ever heard of called This Is Us. And what do you guys got coming up in the future? Like, where can our listeners look to see you next?
Monday night on Quantum Leap. Let's go, Leapers. Yeah, I right now, we're for me, I am waiting to see. That you're an actor, you go from job to job, and right now it's pilot season, so to speak. So there's lots of stuff that's in the mix, but we'll see. I mean, that's the fun thing about the fun and frustrating part of this business is that you just have no idea what your next move is going to be until it unfolds, and then you're on Quantum Leap playing just a nasty character, which I would never thought. So right now, for me, it's to be announced.
Okay.
Anisha?
How about you, Anisha? Anything coming up?
Monday night. Same. It's Monday night. It's the same. I know for Laura it'll be like the next thing next week, and hope for me. And you just gotta hope week by week that it's gonna be something. But no, it is very. I'm very thankful for like even being Monday night. It's very cool for me.
Yeah, I just came off a long run of some fun stuff. The Patient that was on Hulu. I don't know if you guys saw that with Steve Carell. So that's right now. The SAG Awards are tomorrow night, so he's nominated. So right now, that's still in my peripheral of just a wonderful show to have been a part of. But I hope I get to work with Anisha, because I didn't really get to work with her too much on this. So that's my new hope for this year, that I get to work with you, girl.
I know it was so strange. It was like we were literally separated. I would only see you from so far talking to Raymond. And yeah, it was almost method. I was sad it was taken away from you. But yeah.
Can't wait to see it Monday night.
Yeah.
In the family style vein, do either of you have any plans for watching it on Monday nights?
My friends definitely want to watch it. I want to run away and hide, but I will be watching it with them, I think. My family is also probably going to be watching it. Yeah, it's I'm still having trouble watching myself on things. I just hope that it exists like theater and I don't have to see it, but it doesn't. And so yeah, I don't know. Laura, are you okay with watching yourself on things?
No, I don't like to watch myself on things, but my dad has been stalking me on this episode. Like, he lives in Colorado. And he's like, because this got pushed back. This was originally supposed to air on a different time. So he does this thing anytime I'm on TV or anything. I could be on a commercial, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is. He sends a mass email out to all these people. And of course, when you're in the biz long enough, things always get changed, right? Either air dates always get changed. And so it's been a little bit of an ordeal that he's had to go back to his friends and go send duplicate emails. And I guess
sorry, because I know my dad will listen to. He is also a major stalker, crazy stalking. He knows the agents. He's like an engineer, but he knows the agents and the representation of everybody on the cast. It has freaked me out to no end. He's known before I have that it's been pushed back. I don't know how. It's something about dads and stalking. It's cool, but scary.
Right. If we have trouble getting in touch with any of the cast members, we'll give your dad a call. Maybe you can help us out.
Yes.
He already knows their numbers, home addresses.
Dad and my dad should be, watching this together.
Absolutely. No, yeah, absolutely. We have to make that happen.
How lovely is that, though? How lovely is it to be on a show where your parents love to watch? Believe me, I've done a lot of shows where it's like, nah, I ain't watching that show, So it's really nice when you're on a show that the fam can watch,
Right. Yeah.
And I know that you both had mentioned that you're not very comfortable watching yourselves on screen, but if I can just fan gush a little bit, this is one of the better episodes of the season, and you guys are both terrific in it. Anisha, you have the funniest line in the episode, so you'll know it when you see it, but you should watch it. Trust me.
Oh, I can't wait. Now I can't wait.
I'm so scared. Thank you. That means a lot. Yeah. I have no idea what line you're talking about, actually.
When you watch it, you'll know.
I'm trying to figure out what the line is.
All right. Do you want me to reveal it?
Well, I thought the whole thing was fantastic, but
No, it was in the scene actually that you had asked about before, Matt. And Nandini says, "Can I change my mind?" And Anisha looks at her and says, "I don't know. I've never seen you."
Oh my God, I can't wait to see this now.
Yeah, that was a fun moment.
But you were so deadpan, you were just no. It was great. So I don't know. Should we leave that in? I feel like I'm being a little too effusive. So sorry, guys. I'll be okay. I'll be interviewer again. Okay.
No, I love that moment too. It was very, because so many people in my life are as stubborn as Nandini's character, and it is shocking to have that switch of her being like, I can change my mind. It's like, no, you can't. You never have. I don't know what that's like.
So, yeah, wonderful moment. Just an episode filled with wonderful moments, and so evocative of the original. So I want to thank you on behalf of the fandom for bringing the feels back of the original Quantum Leap, because that's something that this show has done occasionally, but as you guys said, it's trying to strike out its own thing. Laura, especially, you've seen the other show, and they're trying to walk that line of being faithful but original.
Right.
And it's nice sometimes for them to just sort of go back to the formula, I guess. Not that this was a formulaic episode or anything, but it hit a lot of the sweet spots that Quantum Leap is known for. Mm-hmm. And like I said, the cast just had everything to do with that, and I feel like it's because Deborah was behind the camera doing it. I mean, it's her baby, it's her show, so I think she brought a lot of that old sensibility back too. So it's wonderful.
She was fantastic, one of the best directors I've ever had. I mean, she was just so warm and open, and it was easy to get to those places with her behind the lead. Yeah,
agree.
Well, Laura, Anisha, it's been so wonderful, a treat to talk to both of you. Thank you so much for spending time with us here on the Quantum Leap podcast.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for having me.
It's been really fun. Thank you so much.
And thanks Leapers for watching and being for all these years.
Woo. There you go, Leapers. There's your round of applause. Thanks, guys.